In 2013, a 489-pound tuna sold for a whopping $1.8 million. But you can buy a can of tuna fish at the grocery store for under $2. So what's the difference? For starters, it's not the same fish. Canned tuna typically comes from albacore. They're small, grow fast, and are abundant for fishing. And they certainly don't weigh 489 pounds. There's only one type of tuna in the world that grows that big: bluefin tuna. There are several different varieties of tuna, but bluefin is what you're most likely to find at high-end sushi restaurants.
Bluefin is the most sought after. Only bluefin has the intense marbling. Bluefin also, when it's aged properly, has a particular balance of flavors.
Besides its superior fat content, another reason fish is more expensive from Japan is that it has further to travel, and it goes through a rather lengthy process before making its way to your plate.
We get like a Boston bluefin. It goes from the fisherman to the distributor to our door. Whereas in Japan, it's going from the fisherman usually to a collective or cooperative, to the government that's running the auction, to a middle wholesaler, to a final wholesaler, to a restaurant or hotel. All high-end fish are auctioned in Japan.
The first auction of the year in Japan is when you'll see ridiculously high prices for fish.
In Japanese culture, that first thing you do all year is the most important. It sets the tone for the whole year. That first tuna of the year always goes for the highest price that any tuna will go for the whole rest of the year.
And the different parts of a bluefin tuna also vary drastically in price.
If you imagine a tuna as like a torpedo, they'll split it into quarters lengthwise, cut off the head and the collar, and we will take one of the two belly quarters. Otoro is the fattiest part of the tuna outside of the head and collar area.
This is the most expensive, and depending on where it's from and where the fish was raised, the price can vary anywhere from $10 a piece to upwards of $80. Akami is the most common and cheapest part of the fish, but it's still more expensive than that can of albacore at your local market.
When you're assessing the quality of the tuna, you want to taste the red meat, the akami. It's a wild animal, so it tells you whether it had a good diet, whether it had a good life, and it got exercise, and it lived in clean waters and was able to swim around a lot.
Wild bluefin tuna were overfished in the Pacific, which was harming their population and making it more difficult to come by. However, more recently, tighter controls on fishing have led to a resurgence in the population.